But okay, let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smells Like Teen Angst. We are here. I realized I didn't introduce us last time, and so I was like, let me fix that today. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so I'm out of practice. But I'm Sarah. Kiki, say hello.
Hi.
Jordan.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan.
Thank you to everyone who watched the Derry reaction show that we put out last week. There's quite a bit of you like listening in the podcast and also watching the videos and on TikTok. So appreciate it. If you're into it, make sure you are liking, subscribing, comment along. We always write back. Unless you write one of those like really long diatribes, please put more than one comment because those are aggressive and I love it. And I love the enthusiasm, but my brain doesn't like that. But yeah, so we're going to talk about it. Welcome to Derry, episode 2. And I just first want to say the episode soundtrack slapped this episode.
Yes.
I was like,
it is my favorite thing about period pieces when they have really good music from that time period. And I don't care if it's like 1950s like this or like 2000s like Saltburn, but like if you are a period movie and you nail the music, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Kiki and I were like singing along. We're like, wait, we have to pay attention and would rewind. Also, we now have a theme song, which we watch early, so I don't know if they added that to what everyone saw with the first episode, but we now have like a creepy theme song and intro that I thought was interesting. It's like with a smile and a ribbon in my hair, and it shows like Derry being a very white town that then eventually turns really dark with lobotomies and nuclear bombs that go into full chaos with hints of it throughout it. I don't know if you saw all those, Jordan. There's like a hand or a shadow.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. So it's like, I love that it just keeps showing you that like what you see is not always what you get and that he truly does have a hand in all the chaos of this town.
I saw it and I loved it, but there was also that moment where I'm dumb and I was like, is this an intro or are we in a fantasy sequence?
That's
yeah, that's fair because we didn't have it the first time around. Yeah. I love the Blue's Clues of looking for something. Like when writing Mickey's Runaway Railroad, I'm looking for the crab, okay?
So you and the
crap.
damn crab.
She's like, there's 2 in this room.
So I was like, oh, wait, that's it. Oh, wait, that's it. Is that it on a rocket? Like it was actually really fun. But then all these instances were like lining up as well, where I'm like, we haven't got there yet. We haven't got there yet. So I'm like, oh my God, is this like a history of Derry?
Mm-hmm.
And
Of
it
what's
has been
happening.
there since the beginning, you know?
Yeah. Which we know he's been around a very long time. But and then in the cold open of this episode, I was like, we're back in the theater, and I appreciate that this was a different angle, right? It was more so
Yeah.
from the victims a little bit, more so from the demon's view versus Lily's. So we saw how gruesome a lot of these deaths were that we didn't get to see at the end of episode 1. And at first I was like, oh no, we're just gonna pick up right here. And then I was like, oh, it's a nightmare because she can't let it go. Which then at first I felt bad for her. And then I was like, I know she's a child and I feel like this is not here. The frontal lobe, not here. But also, girl, make better decisions. We learned that there was blood all over the theater, but no bodies, which was a question we had how this was going to resolve. And of course, they're thinking it's the one black man in town with Ronnie's dad, and the cops are sitting outside of his house. And those dudes were so gross. Great job. Like, those actors killed it as racist cops.
Dude, there was a lot of racism in this episode and everybody acted their butts off. I was very uncomfortable.
I know. I was like, we're here, but also kind of like moments like this because it reminds me like this is what my grandma went through.
Yeah, right. It's realistic. I can't stand a period piece where everything's sunshine and rainbows and people are getting along. 'Cause that's not how it was.
Hmm.
No. And then you have this really interesting conversation with Ronnie's grandma, which I was like, oh, we got a grandma. And her dad, it's like a very serious conversation, like their lives, what's going to happen. We have Ronnie's future to worry about, like all of these things that are very, very serious. So I'm going to do this order for everyone listening. We're going to start with the kids this time around. And I'm going to start with Ronnie's visit from it. This Shit. What?
Someone who worked on this show has some severe birthing trauma, and I
Ye-
don't know. It's not my business. I don't need to know. And I understand using art to process your feelings. I do it myself a lot as an artist and a writer. But as a woman who has a womb who could possibly have a child someday, I don't need to keep seeing this shit, man.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. And Kiki clocked that it was a womb immediately. I just like, I was like, oh, the never ending blanket.
Yeah,
And then
I
she's
thought
like,
it was just like she was like in a cell at first, like a blood cell or like in skin. And I was like going back to the skin layer.
No. The minute I saw like it veining, I was like, it's a placenta. Oh my God, she's in the womb. Like I I I don't have birthing trauma, but I know that birth is like very difficult on the female body and used to kill women constantly.
yes,
So I
And
don't
this
like
is
it being used as like a scary freaking
this
device
is why I
because
say that like I might have a kid because the idea of birth without watching this show already makes me kind of want to throw up.
yeah,
yeah.
it's terrifying because you can die. Like
Yeah. And that's
for
what happened
someone
to,
you've never even met.
All right, I
Like
don't even know you.
you don't know that person in your body.
You might turn out to be a jerk and I died for you? Fuck.
Exactly.
but that's what happened to Ronnie's mom, right? She died in childbirth. And
Yeah.
like, that's what it uses. So like, she starts drowning in the fluids. She's harshly birthed. But whoever created the design of the bed, because you know, when you look at inanimate objects and that's a person in your,
Yes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
and then when the lights come on and you see it and you're like, they did such amazing job. You can see where the legs would be. You could see the body. And I was like, the set design in this moment, the
Yeah.
creature design is so good and horrifying.
It was
And
brilliant. It really felt like in the middle of the night when you look at your clothes chair and you're like, "Oh my God, there's somebody over there." And then you get up and you're like, "Oh no, it's just my clothes chair."
yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, that's not, I do that with, because like my light. And I'm like, what? No, it's just my light, just my light.
I
Um,
know. I hang things to dry because there's a big window in my bedroom. So like long things can go there if they need to like hang to dry.
mhm.
And there's a fan in my room, so it helps. But every once in a while, I'll wake up at night and I'll be like, ah! And I'm just like, it's just the dress you put to dry.
Yeah, nightmares. They did such a good job of like, I was like, that was so smart. And then having her still be attached by the umbilical cord and then dragged to the chomping belly. And then when it stands up,
The-
I hope that they had a person in like a mocap suit. I know it's probably not, but like, you know how Disney used to like watch animals walk or people
Yeah.
walk? Like, I hope they had some sort of circus human that like did that for them.
I think they did though, because the Machete brothers are really into practical effects and stuff like that. So I would not be surprised if that was like a mocap or an actual performer or something crazy.
Like design after, because I was
Yeah.
like, I would never sleep again. And the fact that she had to like chew her way through this umbilical cord to be free and then screaming, and like at least her dad heard it, because I was like, someone, how is she needs to be saved? How is she gonna get saved? Because I can't.
And it was very, I really liked the way that her father came into the room to help her and comfort her because it did very much feel like childhood, where you have this thing that just absolutely terrifies you. Your parents come in to try and comfort you, and you can't even begin to describe it, you
Yeah.
know? And with this, it's the added layer of like, it's not in her mind, like this is a real monster, but she can't tell her parents that.
They're gonna think she's crazy. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, okay. Like all parents are like, oh, the monster in the closet. Let me look under the bed for you. I'm just letting you know, I will never. I'm gonna be like, yeah, the monster lives there. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Just
I might get one of those spray bottles so I don't have to look and I just monster spray it. I got
oh,
you.
that's so smart. Oh, but monster spray everywhere. I'm not looking. You never
No,
know.
I'm not looking. It might get me too. I don't know you that well.
I'm like, I love you, but not for a spider like that.
Mm.
Or a bug. I don't know. I've seen monsters.
You
So
let spiders live. Don't even complain, girl. If
I
a
don't want to.
spider's in the
How big is a
house,
spider? Is
If
it a
I
daddy
don't
long
see
leg?
it, if it doesn't come out to play, it can hang.
no. If it's in the house, I'm hunting it down. You're gonna die
Yeah.
because I pay rent here. and I'm afraid of you, and you can't reproduce in my home. Like, absolutely not.
After facts. After this whole nightmare sequence, she goes to tell Lily what happened. And then basically to beg Lily when talking to the police again or investigations, because they're after her dad, like, tell them what you saw. And she's like, I can't because they're gonna think I'm crazy. And like she's like, no. And I loved this scene so much. I think the girls acted really well. And then having the patty cakes girls doing their
Ugh.
fucking
Are we going to get to them in a second? Because,
yeah, that's I'll talk. Yeah, we
okay,
can talk about
good.
that. And I just thought, like, what a smart.
It
It
was
just
very
built
tense.
tense. It built so much amazing tension. I loved it.
Yeah, it was very tense. It worked really well. And I think the actors playing Lily and Ronnie are very, very talented for their ages because that was some real, like, grown adult arguing.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And we can get into the paddock case. We'll talk about Lily next because Marge is like, you need to be careful about even hanging out and talking to Ronnie because they think like her dad's a murderer, obviously. And I'm like, Marge, first of all,
Marge, everybody's just racist. Shut up.
Yeah.
like they don't even like you. Like the patty cakes don't even like you. You have to be the funny one. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
I'm gonna get into it. I cannot stand Marge. Okay. I can't stand her. There better not be no Marge redemption arc halfway through the show. Like, I can't, if it takes her next, I will applaud. Okay. Because she is getting on my last good goddamn nerve. And I think it's just because I had too many Mean Girl experiences growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what Marge's guilt will be, right? Because she wasn't with them at first. She doesn't have the guilt. Is it for everything with Lily? Like to finish that off is so Lily does go for questioning again, and he threatens to send her to Jupiterville. And I looked that up. That is new, unless someone out there knows different. I couldn't find anything.
Juniper Hill, I think, is new. Henry Bowers was in an asylum in it, but I don't think it was called Juniper Hill. And speaking of Henry Bowers, this episode was full of so many Stephen King Easter eggs, and it was so perfect. And I think this is the first time that we find out the police chief is Chief Bowers, which
Mhm.
means that he's either Henry Bowers's grandfather, probably not father, but grandfather. Um, and honestly, that explains a lot about why Henry grew up to be such a fucking dickhead.
Mm.
Yes. I didn't even clock that one. Thank you,
Oh
Jordan.
yeah.
I was like, he's important. And I was like, who is this character? And they're like, he's brand new. And I was like, okay. So I love it. You're right. I forgot that little fucker's name. Um, but he threatens her to go to the loony bin, basically, for a lack of a better term, to the insane asylum, to the medical center for mentally deranged. Um, and so she basically implicates Ronnie's dad. And she doesn't come right out and say it, but like the way he did it to a kid, he's like, "Can you say with 100% certainty that he wasn't there?" And she's like, "Well, no, I can't say that." And they're like, "Well, that's it. That's your confession that it was him." Like I guarantee that's how that conversation went. And she's like, "They tricked me." And so I understand the whole argument and everything that's going on. But then Lily goes shopping and has her, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry, I had to Google while we were talking. So Juniper Hill
Got it.
actually has been. It's been in It, Insomnia, Needful Things, Gerald's Game, The Sundog, Tommyknockers, Bag of Bones, 11/22/63, Nightmares and Dreamscapes, and The Dark Half. So yes, Juniper Hill is it's the Stephen King Insane Asylum across many, many, many of his works.
Thank you. I heard Jupiter Hill, which is why I did not get it. I did
Oh,
not hear
you know what?
Jupiter.
I took it for granted, honestly, that it was the Insane Asylum just because it sounded so familiar, and I have read like half of these fucking books and seen the
Right.
movies. So yeah,
You're
it's
like, it's
the
there.
nuthatch. It's God, we're being so insensitive. We're sorry, guys.
I'm like, what? I mean, Reagan got rid of them. I don't know what, so
Yeah,
what do we call them now?
yeah. Mental institution.
Mental institution? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go that.
Grippy sock vacations.
A grippy sock vacation.
Sock
Look,
vacation.
man, I'm surprised I haven't been taken for one this year. I'm not gonna lie. I could use it. 72 hours.
Just a great way to talk about my feelings. Get medicated. Um, so Lily's in the grocery store. And of course, she's like my transition. She's racked with guilt over what's now happened to like Ronnie's dad, and she gets her own encounter.
Hang
And I
on,
love
you skipped really quick because I also loved this scene.
Mhm.
Ronnie's dad gets arrested.
Yeah,
He gets carted out of their house, and Ronnie runs to follows him to the police car. The second the police car drives away, she fucking books it to Lily's house and yells at her in front of her mama and is like, "You have ruined everything."
yeah,
Ronnie stands on business, okay?
facts. Yeah. And I love them. I
Yeah.
was like, we can't do this now. And closes the door. And I hope she has a conversation with her kid, but she does, but doesn't. Um, the grocery store happens. And this was so good with the creepy customers.
Dude, the scares this episode were so much better than the first episode, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And
Exactly. I
maybe
am so sorry we talked like any mess about it. I take it back.
right.
Okay.
I don't know if these are just things that are more in line with what scares me or if they were done better, but this episode had me on literally the edge of my seat and I was watching it from my iPad during the grocery store and I was like, "Oh no." And like I had to back up and put distance. And I was like, "From now on I need to watch this from the TV that is across the room because this is too close."
Yeah. No, I feel like the first episode gave pilot and this
Yes.
episode gave budget.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like then he did like with the pickle jar dad, like we know.
The guy, and because all the creepy customers, but the one guy was creepier to me, and I feel like that had to be the embodiment of it, because it was a
Oh, the one
guy
that
in a
was
brown
dancing?
jacket. Yeah, and he just kept popping up in Lily's periphery, and he'd be like, "Rah!" Like that. It was
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one that was
it.
like, hmm?
It
And
made
then
me.
she was
It
like,
gave me that feeling, and I feel like all women know this. When you are somewhere in public and you're like, "Am I being followed? Is this person just going to the same place that I'm going, or am I being followed?"
yeah.
Also, the ads that were constantly playing in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was that a real thing that used to exist back
No, for
then?
real.
Like,
There was a moment where I was like, "They don't have no music to play in this grocery store in the 50s."
I was
They would
like, did,
literally be the speaker on the radio. You know what I mean? They didn't,
Yeah.
if you think about it. So that makes sense. That would just be ads of everything on sale.
yeah,
No.
but wouldn't a person have to like sit there and do that back then?
Well, they
You
might
know?
have a recording, like a little,
I would love that to have been my job, honestly. I'd make so much bank
that's your
just sitting
whole
there.
job.
Dog food on sale today.
Yeah, there's a sale on Pickleman.
Ugh.
As soon as I saw her locked in the room of pickles, I was like, oh no, we're gonna get
And
a
we all
pickle
knew.
zombie man.
We knew.
We knew.
But like putting her friends on cereal boxes,
That was good too.
that was
Yeah.
good. They could have done a milk aisle, you know, because missing kids were always on milk.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. I was thinking like, oh, she's gonna run and it's gonna be milk and like milk's gonna come after her. But no, pickles.
I thought the guy in the brown jacket
Pickles.
was gonna get her. I was not ready for the pickle thing until she was like locked in the pickle room aisle, and I was like, "Oh no."
The pickle octopus man who was asking for kisses. Like that
Give
makes me
Digi
feel like
a
her dad was like abusing her, like Beverly. Like
Ugh.
to be like constantly like that. I'm like, I feel
There
like that's hinting at
are.
something more sinister.
I'm very sensitive, and a lot of times I can turn that off for media. There are very few things that I can't watch, and I will say, in both versions, the miniseries and the movies, the scenes with Beverly are like, I'm gonna fast forward, or I
Yeah.
have to conveniently get up and go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, no. And I guess she tells her mom about this because like they find her screaming broken pickle jars, and the guy owning the grocery store is like, "What's happening, Lily?" And then she still ends up at Juniper Hill anyway.
She goes to Juniper Hill any fucking way. Which I hope, and I know that this town is racist, but I hope that gets her statement thrown out and they
Right.
release Ronnie's dad.
Because she's not mentally
She's
sane.
not mentally
So
there.
she could say anything.
She don't know what she saw or didn't see.
Exactly. And then let's talk about Will because so we meet Will Hanlon, the son of the major that we see. His wife and son have now come in, and we'll get to the dad and all the wife in a second. But I want to talk about Will because I loved him so much. He
He's
was,
so precious.
and he like,
He's so precious, and I feel like looking at him, you understand a lot more about Mike Hanlon because this is presumably Mike's
yeah.
father.
Mm-hmm. And I just love that he like made friends with that. Like, was he in like a band kid, Rich? Like, who was this child?
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely a band kid because he had on the uniform and he's like
Yeah.
eating his little empanada, which I did. I zeroed in on the empanada and I thought it was such a brilliant little moment and a prop because it tied back to his culture and they don't make a big deal about the fact that he is a Latin child in this really racist town, but they do have that moment of like everybody else is eating fish sticks and mashed potatoes and this kid's got an empanada.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
so cute. And like he's also the richest, like in love with the patty cake girls. So like all of them, not one of them. And I just love the music playing for him. And it was like from Carousel, You'll Never Walk Alone. I was like, this song has to have some sort of meaning. I'm unsure what it is. Someone else smarter than me tell me. Because I was
But
like,
you
what?
also agreed though in that like walkthrough with the girls. I was like, the camera movement on this, I don't think it's any specific one girl. I think it might
No.
be like the group of them.
It felt like Saja Boy's soda pop moment. Like he's down for any of them.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
100%. It was so cute.
That and also the level of him in that locker. I was like, is baby boy like 3 feet tall?
Oh yeah,
Like
he's a little guy.
So tiny.
he's a little EB baby.
They're
He's
so
just a
cute.
little guy.
They're so cute. I'm obsessed. I'm like, please don't kill. We know Will's safe at least, but I'm like, don't kill my little Rich. He's so precious. And then Will ends up in detention because a kid throws a stink bomb and he gets accused because he runs as a teacher. It's all this drama. And then
He
that
runs
kid,
into a racist ass teacher.
yeah.
God, again, talking about things that triggered me because I had several racist ass teachers. Fuck that hoe.
And then he spits mad game at Ronnie, and it made me wonder: is Ronnie gonna be Mike's mom?
I had that moment too, because at first I was like, oh, they're just talking. But the more it went on, it seemed like they both got starry eyes and it was really cute. And I was like, oh, what if they end up together?
When he's like, I smell, or am I covered in stardust? I was like, bro, I can't.
Right.
It
Ugh.
was like nerdy flirting, and I loved it so much.
It's so cute. I
It's
just
so
like that he's a
cute.
nerd.
He's so cute. Because then also fun, another fun Easter egg when they do show up, jumping over to them, he gets a telescope from his dad, and that's presumably the same telescope that Mike uses.
Right?
Because Mike was like always about the stars, and he's the observer. He's, the historian of the town. So I'm like, this is where he gets it from. He got it from his daddy. I love it. But I just know something creepy is going to happen with that telescope one day.
Oh,
I
it's
just feel
gotta.
it. I feel it
It's
coming.
gonna appear in the little, yeah.
Yeah, his eyeballs. Before we jump into all of the militaries, if I want to talk about the wife, because we now have her. If you've ever seen Zola, the
Taylor Page.
yes, she was so good in that. So when she showed up, I was like, I know
I'm
her.
so glad you could think of a thing that she's been in because I primarily know her and I hate all the feminism is leaving my body right now and I hate myself for it. But I primarily know her as Jesse Williams' ex-girlfriend. And I was like, no, she's an actress in her own right. What has she been in? Yeah, she was in Zola and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and she's a fantastic actress.
So
That
good.
being said, she's doing something weird with her voice in this show that I don't love. It's like an accent or something.
Yeah.
Not my favorite choice directorially, but like she's still great.
Yeah, she's still great in this. And I love like when she's wandering around the town, it just reminded me of like Disney Main Street USA. Like towns
Yeah.
like this creep me out.
Because they should. They're really weird. And also, we've just grown up on too much media. Another Easter egg that I did appreciate, though, is that they're talking about building the Paul Bunyan statue, which, if you've seen or read the book, the Paul Bunyan statue is really important in the very beginning. So it's very funny that we're like seeing how it came to be.
And everyone's upset about it, which is funny. When she goes to the butcher shop, we meet Stan Kirsch, aka the Cleaver, which is part of It Chapter Two's movie with Beverly.
Yes. Also, there was another Easter egg we forgot. One of the we never learned one of the kids' names last week, and we're like, oh, is he related to Stan? Because they're both Jewish. And then they say his last name this week, and it turns out he's got to be related to Stan somehow because it's the same last name.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Um, so I was like, ooh, that's fun. And then she like stops a fight between the bully kids. I'm like, oh, bully children. And then she meets Stephen King has a lot of Native Americans in his stories and a lot of lore. And so she meets a woman who runs like, I want to say it's like an antique store or a pawn
Yeah.
shop or something. And I'm like, she is going to be so important because a lot of this lore comes from them. And I didn't clock a name, so I couldn't like look her up.
No, but she's got to end up being important just because, like you said, there's a lot of lore and whatnot. And they spent kind of a lot of time on that scene for her to not be a throwaway.
Right.
Mhm.
But let's talk about like kind of the biggest Easter egg of this whole episode, which is Dick Halloran. In episode 1, this is the guy that was driving around Richard, as I'm calling him. And he is one of the like 3 other black military men on this base. There's not many. And they're all being interrogated from the attack of last episode. We also meet Elmer, who is the bartender that if when the kids were originally reading about the It tragedy at this time, poor Elmer, he's not going to make it. Just going to let
You're
it
not
run.
gonna make it. Sorry, Elmer.
Elmer.
I wonder if we're gonna get to watch what happens to Elmer.
That's what I want. I'm like, we're gonna find out the end of it. So after they all get drunk at this bar, they leave, get moonshine, get even like more drunk. That's how we learn that Dick Halloran, he uses his name, drops the madness of like why he's so important to the military to get in. Because again, that guy was being super racist and mad that they were drunk, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. So if you don't know Dick Halloran, he is from The Shining. He is from Doctor Sleep. He is the spiritual advisor that helps the kid, Jack Nicholson's kid in the movie. And so he has The Shining, right? Like, so he senses spiritual things. He has a psychic ability that allows him to figure out phenomena and communicate like telepathically with children and things. And so he's helping the military with his shining. And I know he's going to start helping these kids. He has to, because the military is looking for it, which we'll get to at
Well,
the end.
I don't know if he's going to help the kids. Clearly, all the storylines are going to converge, right? At some point,
Yeah.
all the storylines are going to converge. And I think it would be a cool callback to how he helped Danny, and it would be like, oh, this is why he's like so sensitive to helping Danny, because he helped those other kids. But I don't quite know how we're going to get there, which is the point, right? That's the point. That's why we keep watching.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I now feel like with this episode, because I remember episode one, we were like, they killed all the kids. Like, who are we following? Are we just going to
Yeah.
keep killing kids? And now we're getting introduced to everyone and learning like their tie-in to characters we know from like the actual series. So I just feel like once everyone's introduced, then we can make that like dissection of how things are about to merge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this series isn't going the direction I thought. I kind of thought we were gonna get just like another, like with the first episode of the kids, us being like, they're all dead. What are we doing now? So, like, because that's what I
I
thought. We're just
think
gonna follow children again.
I think we all thought we were getting the Losers Club 1950s edition, and it's so refreshing that we're not.
Absolutely. It's so much more intricate and way more interesting that they're doing it like this.
And
Um,
they're pulling in so much Stephen King lore. Like I feel like it's very rich to watch. It's very fun to watch if you don't know, but if you are a Stephen King nerd, you're just like,
every time we're
yeah,
literally
every
going
time
around
you're
in
just pointing at the
circles.
screen.
100%. It's like when watching Interview with the Vampire, right? Like everyone's
Yeah,
mad that it's not the book, but it's the books.
yeah.
It's all of them. So it's very much like that. So I love this. This is so fun for me.
I was literally about to say the same thing. I love that there are shows out here that are now taking the written media and building the universe
Yes.
because there are writers out here who have whole universes where everything connects. Stephen King, Anne Rice, like this is a very much like
And
same
I
type of realm thing.
I really think this is the benefit of waiting to adapt things. Like, and I'm going to call out two series that we've talked about before, Twilight and or Harry Potter or even Hunger Games. As if you're adapting as the books are coming out, you're missing some of that bigger picture. So
Yeah,
you're doing a faithful like page to screen adaptation. And yeah, that's nice. But when you wait 20, 30, 40 years and you see the entire series, you can go in and cherry pick things and you can do oh my God, foreshadowing and like other little bits and pieces because you know the whole world and where everything ends up.
exactly. And that's what they're doing here. And I'm upset, well, creating their own little world because we don't have this story specifically,
Yeah.
but it's how they can tie it into the world we already know and love. And I love it so much.
I am curious as to how Pennywise is gonna beat these kids and the fucking military and
Right?
then get taken out by some kids in the 90s. But whatever.
I mean, we saw the bomb
Yeah.
during so
I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be like Black Phone, all these kids die and then teach them how to,
Yeah.
like the first one.
Well, oh, okay, and going back, sorry, skipping backwards, they don't have any bodies in the movie theater. And I think that's important because I'm pretty sure when we finally go into its lair, the bodies are going to be the deadlights.
I used that in our video. If anyone watched it, I used that image.
You can use it again this week.
Yeah. So to finish this out, Hanlon, so we're to resolve what happened in the barracks. As we know, Hanlon last episode was attacked by three masked men, beaten with a pipe. But apparently the person who put the gun in his face used a very specific Makarov PM weapon. And we learned through him, he has one, and it is hard to use. You can't do it. You have to know exactly how to use it and be super trained on it. And so the super racist guy from the first episode that wouldn't even salute him is taken to the prison. And they're like, yeah, he did it, of course. And he's like, no, bro, that guy's a moron. There's no way. And I love how he got him to tell on himself. It was
So
so good.
smart. So smart. I just love seeing a racist get outsmarted.
I love that. So he goes to General Shaw, Richard, to ask, he's like, we need further investigation. This isn't him. And he's like, I'm going higher up. And he's like, oh, fuck. And so he's like, so I got to tell you something. So it was me. I did that. I hired some guys. My bad. He's like, but it's because I had to test you. Because apparently Hanlon has a mental injury where he has a damaged amygdala. So he is not afraid of anything. So like when that gun went in his face, he wasn't afraid he was going to die. When he was beaten by the pipe, he didn't give a shit. And so he's like, I need a man without fear. And that's so important when it comes to it, since it feeds off of fear. And so they're apparently looking for like this is all during like the nuclear thing with like Cuba and the Soviet Union,
Yeah,
the
Cold
USSR, when
War,
that still
Cold War
exists, the
shit.
Cold War shit. And so like we need to stop this before it even starts. And the only way to prevent it is Operation Precept to win the Cold War. I didn't look up to see if that was a real like Precept was a thing. I didn't care. So they're looking for this weapon that apparently exists that scares people. And I'm like, oh, they're looking for it. And they're also looking for beacons. I was like, oh, now we're in Blade. You know, the totem.
Yeah.
And they think they find something. And this is what Dick was helping them find. They were digging in the ground and they found a car of dead bodies. And I don't, maybe you guys remember, but I feel like in the flashbacks when the kids were learning about it and being in the circus, like they were a part of like, there was like a car that went down. This car is important. And I couldn't figure out
The
why.
car's important, and I don't remember why, but I also didn't feel like going back and watching the movie all over
Same.
again.
I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
I was
My
like,
other thing is that is Hamlin, first of all, Hamlin's a badass motherfucker, but does anyone know, and I didn't feel like Googling, is that a real injury? Like, is that a real thing that can happen to a person?
I mean, they joke about it in The Water Boy. So I
True, yeah. I'm sure it's gotta be real. I've just never like actually heard of someone who that happened to. I find it fucking fascinating.
fascinating. Like I will
Yeah.
be Googling now after. And if anyone watching, listening knows, comment.
If you know somebody, tell us the story. I need to know more. I am so intrigued.
I'm it did like so like it ending like that. I was like, we have so much going on with Lily now in the mental institution. Ronnie's dad is in jail. The big drop of Dick Halloran. This car that comes up, and if that's the beacon or if that's just like dead people, whatever that's going to be.
And
It
Mrs.
being a
Hanlon making trouble in
weapon.
town. Mrs. Hanlon making trouble in town is going to be a bigger story. Mark my words.
Absolutely, with her stopping those kids, she's like everyone's
Yeah.
just watching them, and they're it's like boys will be boys. I was like, I will slap you in the
But also the stairs, though, with things like that, makes me feel like it is in everything.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
he's in the
He's
water
everywhere.
table. People are drinking it. It is a real, like, it's a weapon, you know? Like introducing the whole military looking for him. I was like, oh my God, it's a weapon.
Yeah, like and the fact that like we need to find the thing that can scare all the things. I'm like, this is gonna go sideways, you guys. I don't. This is gonna go great.
Okay, the last thing I want to say, because I know we're going to wrap up soon, is that I was online and one of my friends was talking about the show too on their little Facebook, and people were commenting, and other people noticed the turtle charm besides us.
The turtle charm. It's so important. The stupid ass turtle. Is the turtle gonna be a part of this even more so? Maybe
It's gotta.
It's gotta be.
The turtle's gotta show up. How else is it going to beat all these kids and the military? Okay, the turtle's gotta show up. So I don't know.
Like, I'm
It's
very
all the way
curious
down.
how this goes down because we know they don't necessarily defeat it unless it's never actually defeated. He just kind of goes back to sleep. You know what I mean? Like maybe the kids in the 90s didn't defeat him
With a game of the dozens.
with the game of the dozens. With
Oh,
with
what if they
Care Bear
like, what if
Care.
the beacons have something to do with it and like they find his like stores of stuff and then they miss one, so then he like has to go into
Then he'll
hiding
come
and
back.
rebuild. Mm.
So many places we could go. I am sold on this series after episode 2.
Yeah, right. I feel like we were all kind of skeptical at episode 1. No, episode 2, I'm in.
I'm in.
Mhm.
I cannot wait. There's so much to happen next week. I can't wait to talk
Well,
about it.
and I've heard that we finally get to see our boy next week.
That's my yes. Very excited for that. So if any of you guys have thoughts, theories, comment, shoot us an email, send us a tweet.
Send a raven.
Send a
Send a
raven. Raven. And we are more than happy to chat about the show with you because we're in. We're so ready. And I can't wait to talk about next week whenever we get to watch it. And also this dropped on Halloween. They like upped this episode a couple days, so I think that's very fun. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Anything else you want to say? Keiki, Jordan?
No, I'm into it.
No, I'm in. Go ahead and greenlit the next season.
Give us 2 and 3. We're ready. I can't wait. And all right, well then we will see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things.
Bye, guys.
See you guys next week.
Bye.